Coming up in this episode of the KickCast, a projector you can count on, use lasers to help you park in the garage, and we go back to the 80s for a night run. So sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast, the podcast where we go out and find projects and let you know if you should backtrack or sack them. I'm Ktdata, one half of the show, and joining me is the man who is, one house is not good enough for him. He has to upgrade and get a beautiful, brand spanking new house. The one and only Drew Tyler. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm outgrowing my house. Three little girls and all that crap on the floor. Like, I just need a new place. I give up.
Yeah, you're just gonna leave the stuff on the floor as you get moved to a new house, which is going to be amazing. It's like, yeah, just whatever's left over, you guys can have.
Yep. I'm excited. It's a purge move, so we're getting rid of all kinds of things.
Ooh, are you gonna take the piano? That's always the question I ask people. Are you gonna take the piano?
Piano is for sale.
So if anybody wants
a baby grand,
it's a baby grand.
That's what we want to buy. This one is an upright Yamaha.
Yeah, so if anybody wants an upright Yamaha that's in Ogden, Utah, or if you want to pay to ship it wherever,
I'll give you a good deal.
Let us know, and you might even have Drew sign it for you if you want. Yeah, like
you probably want my wife to sign it since she plays so well. I don't.
But
no, that's huge things that we're going to sell. We're selling like all kinds of dressers and beds and headboards and all kinds of things, so we don't have to move them. Really, just so we don't.
So, before we go into the show, I gotta ask because I've never understood this. So, what is the purpose of a headboard actually?
To make noise on the wall. I don't know.
I've just always been confused about that. Because the frame's a separate thing. I guess if you have a 4-poster bed, that kind of makes sense. Right. But I've never understood why people have headboards, because you don't sleep sitting straight up, or I've been sleeping wrong my whole entire life.
I mean, I'll lean against it. If I'm not ready for bed, I'll sit in bed and lean up against it. But yeah, I could do that on the wall. You got a point.
Yeah, and this is always the beautiful part in the show where Rose Kitty is just smacking her head on her desk. It's like, why is he so dumb? Anyway, so first of all, if this is your first time watching the show, or if you're one of Drew's students, welcome. We always have these kind of chicanery things here because my goal of the show is not only to give you guys awesome projects to back and stuff, but it is to hang out with, I think, one of the people that I love the most in my life, so hanging out.
We don't get enough of each other. We just don't.
Yeah, you guys get a semester of him. I want to have a lifelong friendship with Drew that I can actually stay in contact with him, So yeah, you get the intense version, but I'm playing the long game.
Years we've been doing this.
All right. So, so before we jump into our projects, we have 2 quick news stories. So, Drew, you remember it was like 3 or 4 episodes ago we talked about how you caring was taking over Indiegogo's project, or personal life projects, charitable things,
charitable side trip.
Yeah. So yeah, a week ago, GoFundMe, you caring's competitor and Indiegogo's competitor for kind of those life project funding things, announced they're buying you caring. So it's turning to become the consolidation of all these personal fundraising websites now, because now GoFundMe owns them, you caring, and then they also bought CrowdRise, which they just barely launched, and then of course generosity.com, which was Indiegogo's thing, was absorbed by you caring. For that. So if you actually have a project on one of those on you caring, you do have some deadlines that you should probably pay attention to. So first of all, if you have an existing fundraiser on you caring that are located in one of the countries that GoFundMe supports, because I don't think GoFundMe supported all the countries that you caring did, you can continue to run your project until July 31st, 2018. At 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. After July 31st, your fundraiser will no longer be able to accept donations, and you will not be able to log into your UCAN directly. Please make sure to begin the withdrawal process before this date to ensure there are no issues in receiving your funds. So you may want to do that. And then you'll be able to log into your UCaring account to request a withdrawal up until June 30th. If you wish to save the information from your fundraiser, please log into your account before that time. and download any content you have. Or that so that's for existing countries that are outside the support area of GoFundMe. Make sure you grab all the stuff. If you are in a area that GoFundMe does support, you have to go create a GoFundMe account, and then you should be able to import all your information over from there. So those are kind of two pieces of information, especially when it comes to, this more charitable life funding stuff where you're not really making a project. Get your money out as soon as possible and switch over to GoFundMe if you're on UCaring. Um, I don't know. UCaring. Everybody makes fun of me because apparently I can't say caring.
Yeah, we are. We're mocking you in the chat while you work. We're just laughing at you. But what's funny to me is that, I mean, the consolidation, I guess, is not funny, but it's an interesting move to kind of try and own that of all things.
Yeah,
Have GoFundMe flip in there and kind of scoop them up.
yeah. So is this like a good or a bad thing that it's all coming into one monolith? Because I like having that balance of having a little bit. You have a couple options, so you're not stuck or you're beholden to a platform. This may come from experience of doing live streaming platforms. There's a reason why
Search
we're on
around,
Twitch.
right? Yeah, yeah. But an interesting thought, like Monopoly can be a good thing if it's like in the right hands, I suppose, where it's, they're able to accommodate all kinds of people in one place, and that helps for growing audience and crowdfund these as well as people running them. But I think at the same time, obviously, having choices in where you go, like UCaring versus GoFundMe, um, can also provide that competition and make it affordable. I mean, if you are the only place to go, what stops you from raising your fees to 10 or 20%?
Yeah,
And
and I
I
feel
go
bad.
both ways.
Yeah, I also feel bad for all the guys who are not in a supported country where
Because they
this
kind of
was.
get left behind.
Yeah, now they have to go find another alternative, which may or may not get bought up by GoFundMe again next time soon. So,
Eventually.
and then so yeah, Rose Kitty mentioned, didn't you caring have lower fees? I actually think GoFundMe has the lower fees because they actually switched to the model where we're not taking a cut out of any of these projects. When you pledge to them, you actually decide how much we get, so you can actually kick back a little bit to them.
Really?
Or they had reduced it to a super low amount compared to everybody else. So that's an interesting model, and apparently it's working if they have enough money to be buying other companies up. All right.
Right.
So for our next piece of news, this is again for project creators and things. And iOS people had this option already, but Android finally has it. So Drew, did you ever use the creator dashboard that Kickstarter has? Well, you obviously did on the website, but did you ever use it on your phone in the apps?
I don't remember using it on my phone, no.
So yeah, so now you actually have the option of actually using the creator dashboard on Android. It's already available on the iOS app, but it gives you the options of telling you where your pledge sources are stuff, so you can quickly reference it as you're going, your funding progress, all that kind of stuff right there, and gives you kind of that back end information that you need to figure out on what your project is. I'm not like I get why they're doing this because I know a lot of people do a lot of their work now on their mobile devices, whereas I'm an ancient dinosaur that needs to be in front of a computer to do most of my stuff. Um, but like, are you excited that you'll see this? Because
I mean, I don't.
they've
Yeah,
also
man.
updated other stuff too.
Okay.
On their website. So on the site and in the apps, project videos now are in HD. This was actually something that bugged me a little bit, that
Huh.
the videos sometimes would not be in HD. So that's 216% more pixels than before. And then they've added adapted streaming. So depending on how fast your internet
Yeah.
connection is, that quality is going to shift. Because I think that's why they had it lower before, because they didn't have the adaptive streaming. So sometimes I'd watch videos, I'm like, this looks a little too fuzzy.
That
Um,
that helps. I mean, that's also anybody that's streaming anything needs to be able to send that adaptive. Obviously a lot of work, I guess. A lot of server space and overhead to make that happen. But I think it's a given. Like you have to be able to give people the power that they want, and the ones that can handle the better speeds. You got to be able to do that. So probably a good update. I won't notice as much because I don't play on the Android. So
yeah, well, you already saw it on the iOS side, and you probably didn't
yeah,
even notice
yeah.
it. And then so for the videos, if you uploaded it on or after February 19th, it'll automatically upgrade to HD. If it was before that and you want to get the cool, sexy extra pixels, you got to re-upload it to your project. Um, so those are the quick
Most projects are
news.
pretty wrapped, right? I mean,
Yeah,
most projects that would have been February 19th.
yeah. But you may want to leave stuff for records or something like that. And that kind of stuff. All right. So it's now, before we go into our main projects, we have our quick kick shouts. And the first one's actually not solicited, but I could not mention this because it's Sesame Street. So Sesame Street actually has a project to help prevent bullying with Sesame Street's new autism book. So they're actually trying to crowdfund. They're looking for $75,000 to make a book on kind of an anti-bullying for people who have autisms. Because you've heard about Sesame Street, where they actually created a character who has autism, and I can't remember her name right now.
Yeah, yeah, but
She's
they did it
actually
on purpose.
Yeah, Julia. So
Right?
Julia is they're not Muppets, right? They're
A puppet,
puppets.
right? I
Yeah,
think
or no, they're Sesame Street Muppet with autisms. I didn't want to Kermit and
I didn't know
Gru to
if
get
there's
mad.
there's a brand that only
Yes.
animal Kermit and Miss Piggy are Muppets.
Yeah, so make sure you guys go check it out. If anything, you should back this project just because it's Sesame Street, and they had a big impact for me growing up. I think they've had a big impact for a lot of people growing up, and this is legit from the Sesame Street Workshop guys for a good cause. So
Ooh,
check that out. And then our next one is friend of the show, Fantasy Coin LLC. They are back yet again for another
wow.
Kickstarter. So if you guys are looking for authentic metal coins for your game pieces, your D&D sessions, or just, stuff to have laying around, make sure you go check out Fantasy Coins Project Omega, as he calls it. 5 new coin sets, 10 returning sets by demand, and more bonus loots. I love Tim. He totally cares about kind of the production and making these the most high quality coins ever. Like, I have a couple of them because and they are solid. They feel like real currency. So
Yeah, they're pretty. They're really pretty.
so I highly suggest that you guys go check that out. And I think he also has the hex coins, which may look similar to some gems that you see in a game that references the term "Hey, listen." Uh, that should get me around all the copyright stuff, right? So
Yeah, I think you're safe. I
yeah,
think you covered it.
so make sure you guys just look up. You can look up Fantasy Gaming Coins Project Omega or Fantasy Coin LLC. All right, so now to our projects of the night. And this first project, Drew. So I know you're in university, so you probably don't use a lot of these anymore. But
Oh,
you probably remember kind of it's been an evolution in the world of schools, right? In terms of displaying slides and stuff for your students. I guess it
exactly.
started out with the old projector that had the clicky button, right? The as you hit,
Oh,
right?
like the
Uh,
actual like slide
yeah, the
fire
slide
sound.
projectors. And then it evolved a little bit to the
My
overhead.
dad. Yeah, I was saying my dad's thesis, his master's thesis was a gigantic set of slides in 2 carousels, and we watched them like 20 years later, and it was just hilarious to watch. That's how he did his
Oh,
thesis
did
presentation.
you digitize them?
I don't even know if he still has them. I need to ask him.
Oh,
But
because
they were fun.
that'd be awesome to just digitize them and just see that all locked on. But so that was kind of like the version one, right? And before that,
Yeah,
you had like posters and crap, right? Is that what they
yeah, yeah.
did? I'm assuming that's what they
Chalkboard.
did back in the day. And then it kind of made that jump to the overhead projector, which in my day I thought that was the coolest thing, where the teacher could write and not write backwards either,
Right,
and
right. And
it would show up on
exactly.
the
I won't tell you how I pranked one of my Spanish teachers with one of those. We don't have time for this story
uh,
about how I taped a firework to the hot bulb and waited for it to pop.
You- oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
It was pretty great.
Wow,
Now carry on. What is this
Drew
project I'm
Tyler has
showing
a
you?
rebellious side I didn't know about. So, and then it upgraded to what you probably see in your. Well, do you even use projectors? I don't know.
Every day.
Um,
Every day.
but yeah, I realize that even in my church they use projectors now. PowerPoint. We live in a world of PowerPoint, um, where you get that. So this first project is called The Count, and it is the world's first smartphone AR projector. So it kind of takes the projector that you had prior to this and combine it with the projector you're using now, and the overhead projector, so you don't have to worry about dry erase markers or wet erase markers.
I'm intrigued.
So what this is it looks like an overhead, projector in terms of that. And what it does is it pairs with your phone, and then it can actually display a 720p screen on any surface you want. Um, and then it has a built-in speaker and microphone, so it actually answers to to Siri and to Google Home, I think. I don't think it does Amazon's thing, and you guys are seeing I'm trying to avoid words right now that I don't want to
Tactical.
accidentally activate. And so it works with your phone. And what I love about it, since it shoots down, this solves a problem that I have sometimes. Is I'm working on a table or something, right? And I'd always like when I used to like actually record my lectures in class, and the only thing that would suck about that is because I'm looking down writing a note, and then you have to look back up again, and then look back down to write a note, and sometimes you miss something, so you're like, oh man, I gotta go rewind it to see that section again. So I like this because it shoots down on the table, so I could be writing a note and have the screen right next to me, and not taking up my tablet space or my sheet space, and having it go next to me. Or the other thing that they do is they have a cooking app, which is great. So you can project it down on your stove or onto your kitchen countertop. So while you're cutting all the stuff, you can see the video right next to you without having to worry about a screen or anything like that to get in the way. And
Right, or getting messy, because that's my hardest thing when I'm cooking. I always use my phone for the recipe, and you're like, hands are dirty with it. Either it's
yeah,
covered with fish juice
that
or beef, and you can't touch it.
yeah, you don't want to worry about that. And the other nice thing about this is since it pairs with your phone, it actually uses your phone camera to detect where your hands and stuff are, so you can actually interact with the video too without using a special controller and stuff. So you can see like this one, they have a card game where they're putting down cards, and the phone will recognize what it is and show that on screen as it's interactive. So they do a big push of making like they have all these apps for kids and stuff, where there's like the animal match game. They have this kaka, I don't know how to say that, but it teaches you English. Um, for that. And this is my favorite one, like right here, is how many times have your kids drawn something on your iPad and you're like, man, I wish I could have printed it out, or you miss those hand drawn things. You could do that. So project it on top of a piece of paper, giving them the crayons, and they could,
Brought up.
draw it out, or if they want to just trace something, this is a perfect way of using that. And of course, you can use it for calls and stuff. And the nice thing about the head is it's fully adjustable, so you can show it on any surface you want. You want to show it on the ceiling, you want to show it
Oh,
anywhere.
okay.
So you
I was
can you
gonna
can
ask about that because it was all showing on the
yeah.
countertop, but you can push it across the room onto a wall.
Yeah, onto a wall like a traditional one. And I love this one right here. There's an interactive storybook. So they give you a physical storybook, and then you position the projector so it projects to specific areas, and then you can see this kind of interactive story go along. And there could be a map, and it shows you like a horse going along as you're reading the story and stuff. I really, I you know, I'm a fan of AR. I like that actually a little bit more than VR. So like this does a lot of that where it kind of wants to augment you into the game and be part of it, and but stay out of the way. So what do you think about this, Drew? Is this something
What
that
is
you think you'd use?
what's the price point on this? I really think I would, but I'm curious to see like what it all comes together as. Like,
Okay, so if you only want the base lamp and the desk lamp, so it that comes with the Bluetooth speaker, the microphone, the lamp, and the smartphone holder. That's going to be $179 or 229. It doesn't have the projector with it.
ooh,
So it's just the base that the projector hooks onto. If you want the one with the projector, it's going to be $289 or retail at $339. And that comes with a 720p full 1080p projector with brightness control, image flip, mirror toggle switch, all those other stuff, with the stand on it. And then if you want all the apps, it goes up from there. So it's a little
oh,
pricey. Um,
I would. I feel like this is a fantastic idea, and I love the idea of being able to use your smartphone as a projector and use it. I honestly, kitchen's all I'm thinking about. Being able to put this on the kitchen or shoot it across the room to the wall and have the recipe there, where I could like interact or like move it around while I'm meeting the recipe. Even just like normal websites, to be able to like interact with the AR side sounds really really cool. But I feel like it's got to come down to like a 200 range for me to make that happen. This feels like
Yeah, and this is kind of its first generation project. And the funny thing is, one person that you and I both know, is cousin Jane DS. She does this thing called Twitching Kitchen, where she cooks,
Hmm.
and she actually has
Hmm.
a projector in her kitchen right now, but it's not interactive. So like, imagine how much nicer it would be for her if she could just set this up, um, and then have
Right.
have it go. She usually has the chat and stuff going, but she could have buttons that she could tap while she's cooking, and it's not taking up any extra space in her kitchen, which is not that big. So like that's I really like this, and I want this to be successful. So this one's a back for me because I really want this to be successful so we can iterate on this, make it a little smaller, lighter, faster, and like even
Yeah.
like do the GoPro thing, have multiple mounts so you can move it and put it in different spots too, so you don't have to have the base. Um, so yeah, I really like this. So is this one a backtrack or sack for you?
I think it attracts me. I think it still feels a little steep, but I love the idea and I love the interaction. So I think it's a track for me. I'm going to watch it. Having a brand new kitchen. I tried to talk Stacy into a $3,000 fridge today because it had a full Android like operating system in the door. I was like, look, it will show you pictures of what's in the
It will take
fridge.
a picture of what's inside the fridge, tell you what's
Yes,
in there, so you know what you need to go buy
yes.
when you go to the store.
I totally tried to convince her. She was like, I get it. It's cool, but I'm not spending $2,000 on a fridge.
And she's probably like,
So
why don't I just open the door? What's inside?
so, but that's what I found. Like, I think it's a really cool idea. It's going to be a track for me because it's a little steep.
Yeah, and can I convince you and your wife to start doing cooking streams?
Wouldn't really be
You
fantastic?
have room now,
We
and
need to do more.
since it's brand new kitchen, you can actually mount the fixtures or the cameras and stuff already.
I guess I have a new project because that would be awesome. It is such a great kitchen to be able to pop those things up and just have everything set up for live streaming, and we can cook beautiful things. We're getting all the it's gourmet. It's like everything we've ever wanted.
Yeah, I would totally go up there and help you run it too. So suck it, students. I already called dibs. All right. So speaking of your house improvements, this actually might be something you may want to put into your house. So, Drew, how good are you at parking your car in your garage?
I am the worst. I suck at getting to the garage. In fact, probably 3 times a week, I'll pull into what I think is the spot, and I'll turn off the car and get everybody out of the car just to hear the little girls as they're walking around be like, "Dad, you're not all the way in yet." And so I have to go get back in the seat and pull it forward all the time. So this project that I chose for the second project of the night is called the Parkadot. Now, we've all come up with solutions to get ourselves to stop where we're supposed to stop in the garage. And really, I found that this comes to be like the worst problem when we're trying to park in the garage that's full of things, right? You stack a bunch of stuff up in the front of the garage, and so you just try to pull in as far as you can without bumping whatever's in front of you. Garbage cans, workbenches, you name it.
Yeah,
Like
my
I have,
my mom's terrible at it because so our garage is connected and there's a set of stairs because our house is slightly raised.
yeah,
And she parks on the side with the stairs. Many a time I've had to like slide past the front of her car because she's parked way too close to the stairs, and I'm like, I need to get in the house.
and I do the same thing where instead of hitting things up front, I just don't pull in far enough. We have a fridge freezer right up next to where the car is, so if you pull too far, you can't get into the fridge freezer. So I hesitate and I don't park it far enough. So you've seen all the options. People will put little bumper strips on the floor so they know when they roll over it, they're safe. I'm in. Or the classic
The
tennis ball
tennis
on a
ball,
string.
which when you have people over, it is very classy right there. You have a
It's
tennis ball.
totally class. And so I've even had grandparents offer to like, "Hey, I can get you a tennis ball if you want." Like they've offered. That's how crappy it is. But here is Parkadot. Check this out. This guy, and this is what I think I love about this project, is that he took this idea or this problem and he said, I'm going to reinvent this. I'm going to figure out a new way to do it. So Mo Gizmo is his company, and what he's done is created this kind of two-part system where one of them senses, so it points to where your normal garage door sensor is, right? The one that if you cross it, the garage door doesn't come up or down. It senses when that is triggered or I guess cleared. So as soon as your back tires or your back bumper clears that that spot in the back of the garage, it tells the other one to shoot a little red laser dot at the front window of your car. So wherever you position this, you basically one receives this kind of like data of like, oh, okay, the sensor or whatever the sensor that's already built into your garage just showed me, that he's clear. So then it triggers the red laser, and that shoots through the front of the window of your car and shows up right where you're staring already because it shows up on the glass in front of you. How cool is that?
Yeah,
So you park the same place every time.
like, yeah, I love this because it's using stuff that already exists in your house. You don't have to like I'm always skeptical with some of these systems because some of these systems require you to hook it up to the garage door opener and stuff. So it doesn't work with all garage door openers, and it becomes kind of issues with that because I'm like, garage door openers are expensive. I don't want to ruin my sensors and stuff. So I love
Right.
how he's used it. He's like, well, what do all these garage doors have in common? They have that little safety sensor that shoots an IR light to the other one. Um,
Yep.
and so I actually run into issues with that sometimes in the morning based on where my house is positioned because the sun also shoots
Oh,
infrared rays. So sometimes it will bombard the other sensor and I can't close my
yeah.
garage because
Something's going on.
because
That's
it thinks something's in the way when there's not. Um, but yeah, so what this does is that one has it detects for that IR signal. So it's almost like the IR signal on the other side of the garage that does the same thing. It's just picking up once it sees that, it knows, okay, that's clear, and then we'll shoot a laser out. So I like it. It's low profile, so when you have guests
yeah.
over and stuff, you don't have a tennis ball hanging there.
Oh, you don't even see it because it's on the same railing as everything else. I love that he 3D printed his prototypes. Like he had his own little robo printer print these up, and I think that's just a cool way to tinker. I'm stoked about this. Pretty good price point. I think retail he's looking at $39.99, but for the Kickstarter, $29.99 for one of those Polka. It feels like a really nice and simple solution to a very common problem.
Yeah,
So
and
this is a
and
definite back for me.
yeah, and since you're not wiring anything together, you're really just screwing it into the wall, or he clips it to your railing on your
Uh-huh.
garage door too, which I think is like that's smart. And it just uses two AA batteries, which I think last about a year.
He
Uh,
said about a year
yeah.
based on the it's got this own like sleep thing that'll just turn itself off when it knows it's not needing to think about it. So
So yeah.
yeah,
So
brilliant to me. I think this is definitely a back for me. I like how simplified it is and the price point is right, but it feels like supporting this type of tinkering to me is like what crowdfunding is all about. It's like, yes, you can make this happen in mass production. I'll help you.
yeah, is this gonna end up in your new house?
I think so. I think
Like,
so.
I really like it, and the way it works, you can have two of them and not worry about them interfering with each other because they're on different sides of the garage.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, this one's definitely back to me because I mean, even the 3D printed one, this looks already pretty clean. Like
Yeah.
he hasn't worked on the injection molding and stuff, and I'm like, that looks actually pretty nice. And you see that in garage, nobody's gonna really think twice about that. Um, so that is the Park A dot. Find that on Kickstarter. There's 35 days to go. He's at 4,000 out of 15,000 it needs. So I'm really hoping this one ends up funding. All right.
Yeah. Thanks.
So for our last project of the night, this one was one that you guys voted for. Um, and of course, you guys picked the one where I was barely alive for. So, Drew, you were alive in the 80s, right?
I was indeed. I was.
So I saw a lot of people are surprised. They're like, "Well, you were born in '88, right? That's technically in '80s." I'm like, "Let's be honest, I
I
don't
was too.
remember anything. I was 2 when it turned 90, so like I probably remember more from the 90s than the '80s." Um,
What did I do? I did like 4 to 14. So yes, I'm an '80s kid.
yeah, so like I mean, one of the greatest things about the '80s was well, the Transformers, but all the crazy like action movies, right? That you had in the '80s. I think Terminator was from there.
Uh,
What am I missing? Kung Fury wasn't that back then too? Uh,
Adventures in Babysitting.
yeah.
What was the Jean Claude Van Damme had a bunch?
Uh,
Yeah,
he had so many, but like what I love about him was because they were kind of like that. How do you describe it? Kind of like slightly dark, but over the top kind of
like
action.
RoboCop,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, RoboCop. Yeah, like those RoboCop type movies, and I always enjoyed them. And but the thing is, as time goes on, film styles and everything change. I mean, early 2000s was all about Lord of the Rings, right? So
Yes.
masking. So what this is great is so you guys voted on this one is it's called a movie called Night Run and it is an 80s action film. So he is 100% not ironically he wants he wants to make this video seem like it came out of the 80s, but they're filming it. They're filming it right now. So you got, you know, the explosions, the car chases, man, the car chases and the haircuts and the outfits. Um, and he wants to make a movie about it. So it's the year 1985, and Daniel McCormack was like any other man, dreaming of sports cars and a brighter future with his girlfriend Jennifer. One night, Daniel stops an assault on several civilians by the notorious Cano gang, who have been overpowering the city of Santa Mira. Unfortunately, Daniel's bravery is short-lived as he's murdered by Johnny, the gang's leader. A year later, on a thunderous October night, Daniel rises from his grave, seeking revenge on the men who took his life, his future, and his dreams. This is Night Run. Like, it does not feel like it is totally a, you know, I can see Jean-Claude Van Damme coming out and doing this. And there was something about it that just took me back. I mean, here you can see some of his CG render art for like the car races and stuff. I'm like, yes, that totally hits the feel, you know, the tone and everything from all these 80s movies, you know, like the dark car scenes. Um, and what I love about it is that oh man, look at all this Creep Shows. I totally forgot about Creep Show. That was
I never did that.
that
No.
was another good one. But you can see he's already taken shots at this because I think he's tried to crowdfund it before and it didn't fund.
I thought it ran. I thought he got some money out of that first round, that he picked up like 8,000 or so.
Yeah, but he only
they previously ran it.
But he ran it previously, but he wanted like 28,000. So this is an old one, yeah. So he wanted $28,000 and he only got $18,000. So he's like already like only 10 grand short. So I think what he did was somehow maybe he collected money later, and now this is kind of just to finish off the movie with what he has. Because if you watch this trailer that he puts, they're already filming stuff in green screen, and they have a lot of the stuff made, and now they just need that extra money to get it all going. So like, I don't know, like, did this click to you when you saw the scenes and stuff for this? You're like,
yeah, it's starting to, like, it just feels like it fits in that right era. That this is like totally the right genre when you see the scenes and the mock-ups. I feel like it's like any film project. Like they're trying to capture this nostalgia. It's probably gonna work just fine. I think they're doing it right. Anytime you put like a really like low budget film together like this, um, you got to have a passion for it, and that's probably why they're still chasing this after a
oh
year
yeah,
or so of like.
so what I'm looking right here is, with his costs, they actually saved. They previously raised 8,000 from a previous one. On top of that, they saved another 5,000, so they're at $13,000. They need this last 5,000 so they can get to their $18,000 budget that they're planning on, so they can rent all the equipment and the gear. And they're looking to premiere at 2019. Um,
I was gonna say their timeline looks right, because if they're shooting in like November, I think it says October or something, they're gonna need multiple months to finalize things. It takes a long time to like pull it all together. So they're doing it right. What are they looking for pledges? I'm curious. What are they asking for?
So they are asking for pledges wise, so you can get kind of all the merch stuff, but they do the smart thing, of course. That dollar pledge, I just love it, right? So you can do
yeah.
But if you want your name in the credits, that's $10. If you want the digital soundtrack, which is 15, I wonder if I can get some of the soundtrack on here so to show you. But so you get 15, or you want a digital copy of the film for 15. Somebody let me borrow a DVD the other day, and it took me a long time to figure out what I have that I can actually play that. $20 was digital film and soundtrack. A DVD for 25. A CD, you remember those things? CDs for 25 if you want the film score. Crew T-shirt for 25. I might do this because I want a crew T-shirt.
Doing a good job. Or, good
yeah, if you want a Blu-ray, 35. The vinyl soundtrack for 40. Limited edition VHS tape. Oh man, I love it.
Yeah.
Like, like, this is what I love about it, is like, it's not ironic. He really, like, you can tell he was a fan of all these movies and he wanted to make this. Ooh, if I had $1,500, I would totally do this producer credit just so I could say I helped produce a movie. Oh, here's a teaser for the soundtrack. Like, doesn't this just take you back?
Sounds right. Yep.
Like
Pretty close hit.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, I feel like I should be in like a Mustang driving around on a dark, rainy street right now with that music going on with my mullet that I'd have. Oh, like I want, like there's everything about this just clicks right to me, and you can tell they really want to make this. So that's why this is a back for me. What do you think, Drew? Is this a
It
backtrack
is.
or
I think
sack?
it's back for me. I feel like they did a great job of just capturing this genre, and that's any type of film student or film buff that want to do that. It takes a lot of effort to get the right look and feel, and it comes from more than just color correcting it the right way. I feel like their shots, their angles, the way they're telling the story, it's in the right zone. So I think if any crew were going to pull it off, these guys sound like they've got it all
Yeah,
under wraps. They're doing. If the price is right, like the rate, where they've broken up where money's going. It's a little bit right, but I think it's a back for me. I like
yeah,
where they're going. I'm
yeah.
gonna throw $1.
Yeah, this is totally back, and they're even hoping to pay the cast and crew, um, but at $4,000, that's not a lot if you think about how many people are in a movie. That you know that's actually not a lot to pay an actor. um, in
Right?
terms of
Exactly.
in
And
terms
how
of
many days you're gonna shoot all that? Oh
yeah,
man.
yeah. So I really like that. So that is a back for me. All right, so now it's time for our sack of the week. And this one comes from the lovely city of Salt Lake City, and it continues our themes about movies. So, you and I obviously think a movie based on the 80s is amazing, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm a city boy, so this may not apply to me as much, I guess. How do you feel about a movie about pressure washers?
Like you mean like when they fire up the like a pressure washer?
Yeah, yeah, like the thing that shoots
Like
water,
wash my
and
car?
yeah,
Yeah.
and you need to like clean your deck and strip your deck of stuff, and you use a pressure
This would be
washer.
like, yeah, no, this sounds like a total prank. There's
Oh,
somebody
I
takes
think I
out
think
this
this is
kid.
100% a prank.
Oh, please tell me more.
But our sag of the week right now is Pressure Washer, the movie. I've got a pressure washer and 15 years in video production. You want a feature length pressure washer movie? Problem
Problem
solved.
solved. It was $50,000 to make this. Brilliant.
And
Oh, that is hilarious.
yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a joke. But it
He's also
says,
local.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
from Salt Lake, so it's like pressure washers are dope. You know the feeling. Wide, even lines, just annihilating years of caked on BS. BS that reminds you that of that girl who never called back, the guy who cheated, the uncertainties of your 20s. I'm still in my 20s. Yeah, pressure washer understands. Now imagine that feeling on the big screen, your big screen, running for the length of a feature film. Will you be bored? No, because we're making this all the way celebrity appearances. I'm not promising Elijah Wood, but wouldn't that be sick? Witty pressure washer puns and good old fashioned cleaning the F out of ordinary things. Yeah, you'll effing love it.
This is brilliant. He's gonna shoot. What do you say? We have access to the top line gear, red cinema, helium, 8K, area lighting, and a full crew of experienced operators. You can't expect it all to come together on a dime. The more we make, the better it feels. You want to pressure wash in Iceland, clean the bricks in the Vatican? That takes some serious cash. This is brilliant, you guys. I hope they can do it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a joke.
Yep,
But
it's written too well to not be.
yeah, but I had to. I was like, I gotta find a way to fit this in. If I had any critiques of it, it doesn't have the dollar level. The lowest level is $500, and it's called Wash This. I will rent a pressure washer for an hour to the first 10 backers of $500 or more. Feel the joy of cleaning that old driveway.
$500, I could get an hour of my own pressure wash.
You can buy your own pressure washer for $500.
Yes.
Oh, but I love it. 2 hours if you do 1,000. So at least his like remember that one project we had where like three was it. It made less
Yes,
sense to back three
in the back of the lower one.
lower ones.
Wait, this includes, oh, check it out, that 2 hour one, 2 hour pressure washer. This includes a professional scriptwriter curating a custom list of taglines to say while you're destroying this rusty gutter. I'm in. Pressure washer, the movie.
Hasta la washa, baby. Oh, and then I love the if you want $10,000, be the proud owner of a brand new pressure washer. You animal.
I wanna back this for $10 just to say nice work, Adam. You've done a good thing here. It's beautiful. Here's $10. Even though you'll never hit your 50 and I'll never be charged the 10, I support you.
Yeah, I love under the FAQs too. What kind of quality can we expect? You want 4K, even 5K power washing on the highest grade cinema equipment money can buy? Done. You want high frame rate drone shots, 800 FPS? You got it. This project will be the de facto vision of power washing experience of excellence.
That's hilarious. You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
I love how
It's kind of a funny fact.
Rev's like it's all about the Dutch angles. So if you guys don't know what a Dutch angle is, it's what people classify as non-standard angles that you would normally film in a video. Like
Right here.
in The Godfather, there's a lot of Dutch angles that you see cameras just at weird angles that you normally don't see anywhere else. Like so, this is a sack of the week, but it's one of those things I'm like, I kind of want to back this just to see what he would do.
Maybe for $10, maybe he gives me like a quick 10-second video of said power wash.
Yeah, give me a trail. I want a teaser trailer of the pressure washing. But yeah, that is Pressure Washer the movie. If you guys want to back this, check it out on Kickstarter. Pressure Washer the
Probably worth
movie.
your time. Probably worth your time. It's gonna be good.
Yep. All right. Unfortunately, that is the end of this episode. If you guys have any sacks of the weeks, projects, or you want to just kick shouts, or if you just want to say hi, shoot us an email, kickcast@ktdata.net, or leave it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/kickcast. I should tell you on 2 episodes ago on Double Burst, I totally said the kickcast stuff
Oh,
instead
you
of Double Burst.
finally reversed it because you're always dropping their
Yeah.
stuff on our show.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's fun.
I totally did the opposite, and I'm like, well, I can't edit this out because it's live to drive, so it's still in there if you guys want to hear it.
Awesome.
And then you can also follow us on Twitter at KickCast for the show, at Night20 with a K for Drew, and at KTData for myself, and of course kickcast.net for all the show notes and good stuff. We've just recently upgraded the site to use SSL because Google is yelling at people for not having SSL certificates on their websites. And it may or may not have unsubscribed you if you're not on iTunes, so you may want to double check that. I apologize for that, but there's not really a way around avoiding that. So check it out if you haven't been getting the new episodes. Drew, do you got anything to plug before we go?
Man, when's
the yard sale?
Yeah, right. It's all gonna end up on Facebook, on Marketplace, and KSL. But
we'll like live stream the yard sale to see if people want to buy it, and do PayPal transfers.
Right now, and I'll throw in an extra pair of towels.
I'll throw in a kid.
Yes, some days I will. No, I'm just I'm excited. Next time we do our show, yeah, I might be moved in or moving in, so I'll be that close to a brand new home.
I never asked. Did you designate a man cave for Drew?
No, there's not enough room yet. I have to finish the basement before I get my own room, so I have to share with the girl. So that's how big it is. It's unfinished.
That's what we got to do. Is so before we do the cooking stream, we'll do a finish the basement stream.
Yeah,
and then people can watch. You can watch you and I like struggle helplessly trying to lift a piece of sheetrock because neither of us have any body strength whatsoever.
That would be hilarious. 2 geeks live streaming how to finish a basement. We have no clue.
I'm holding it up. Come on. No.
Guys, you gotta. Can we kickstart that? Give us $50. Let's walk us through around the basement.
2 old geeks. This new house. This new house.
Yep.
How are we getting the sheetrock on the ceiling? I don't know.
Just a reality show. That's my summer. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it happen.
It's gonna be awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Our next episode is going to be, what is it? Is April 24th ish?
24th.
That might be mid move for you. I don't know.
It's closing day for sure. If not, we sooner. So yeah, we'll see if I'm available on that 24th.
Yeah, we'll see because I know I'm headed out of town too at the end of that week. So
okay.
And so make sure you guys check that out. And while you're missing us, if you live in the U.S., don't forget to file your taxes. 'Cause tax day is the Tuesday we not broadcasting. All right, so until then, guys, we'll see ya. Bye bye.
Bye bye.